Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 6 from the Catering Industry of Management. At Zoom now, we will present the type of tourism that exists in several cities in Indonesia. Let us introduce ourselves. First, my name is Muhammad Akbar Gumilang.
My name is Andini Nurul Fatimah.
My name is Titi Nurjana.
My name is Cynthia Zari Kusumadita.
My name is Suzama Krifa.
My name is Maisha Hasna.
Tourist attraction from Solo until Sawah Lunto.
Telaga Mardirda. Telaga Mardirda tourists can visit the Mardirda Lake if they want to enjoy the natural atmosphere. Tourists can enjoy the beauty of the clear lake water and is equipped with the cool surrounding air. Tourists will get beautiful view by looking at the green hills that attract the eye. Mardirda Lake is located in Telaga Hamlet. Tourists can take a walk around the area to enjoy the refreshing natural atmosphere. Around the Lake Mardirda, there is Suku Temple, which can be visited after enjoying the natural scenery. Taman Hutan Rakyat. Solo tourism that is worth a visit is the People Forest Park. Most local people call it Tahura. In addition to recreation, in Taman Tahura there are several activities that can be done, such as doing research or camping. Next, Gardu Padang Bukit Batur Suroteleng Boyolali. The Suroteleng Bukit Batur viewpoint is one of the beauty of Boyolali natural attraction that you really don't want to miss. One of the tourist destinations in the city of Solo that present extraordinary natural beauty is the Bukit Batur viewing post, which is located in Suroteleng village, Solo subdistrict, Boyolali. And the last, Air Terjun Jumong Karanganyar. Nicknamed the Lost Paradise because this waterfall is hidden among these bushes and green trees. The cool mountain air is suitable for those who want to forget for a moment how hot air is in urban areas. The waterfall that comes from the mountain feels cold and refreshing to the touch.
Okay. Maritime tourism. Long Beach is a white sand beach with a smooth coastline that stretches for 7 kilometers. The area around the beach is a tourism center and is equipped with restaurants, hotels, cottages, and shops. Unlike many beaches in general, Pantai Panjang does not have coconut trees, but is dominated by fir and pine trees that make up for a beautiful haven to rest and relax under. Afternoon is the ideal time to go to beach as the weather will be chilly, and the beach is also a popular place for tourists to set up camp on evening. Okay, next, nature reserve tourism. Kabah Natural Tourism Park is a valuable tourism asset of Bengkulu Province. The main uniqueness of the tourist area, which is the only natural tourist destination based on volcanic phenomena in Bengkulu Province, the value of the beauty of the mountainous atmosphere, which is supported by the condition of forest ecosystem and wild flora and fauna that are still natural, is the main attraction and needs to be continuously developed and improved in its management. This destination is actually an active volcano and is included in the Nature Tourism Park area, where the giant flower Rafflesia arnoldi is conserved.
Cultural tourism. Celebration of the Bengkulu Tabot Festival is the main cultural tourism asset in Bengkulu. The Bengkulu Tabot is a work of art that is rich in meaning and certainly becomes a special attraction for tourists. The Bengkulu Tabat Festival was enlivened by various events, ranging from dance performance with the theme of Tabat dance, the doll hitting art competition, the Tabat creation dance competition, as well as the existence of bazaars and exhibition booths that further enliven the celebration of the Bengkulu Tabat Festival, which is also the big folk party in Bengkulu. Historical tourism. Tourism Bengkulu Fort Malburg tourism object. This historical heritage has great appeal because of its rarity. This fort was once the center of the British colonial government, which controlled Bengkulu province for approximately 140 years. The site of the Fort Malburg area is located in an area with a natural beach attraction, namely Tapak Padari Beach, so that it provides a blend of natural and cultural attraction. The completeness of this area, a tourist attraction, has great potential to become a leading tourist attraction for Bengkulu City.
I will present the type of tourism in Surabaya. The first type of tourism in Surabaya is cultural tourism. Tugu Pahlawan and Museum, 10 November. Tugu Pahlawan is a historical monument in the city of Surabaya. Tugu Pahlawan was founded on 10 November 1955 and inaugurated on 10 November 1952 by President Sukarno. To commemorate the history of the struggle of the heroes Indonesian independence in the Battle of 10 November 1945 in Surabaya, the 10 November Museum was built to explain the meaning behind the heroes monument. The building consists of 2 floors, with exhibitions symbolizing the spirit of the Surabayan people's struggle. There is an auditorium on the first floor. The museum contains reproduction of documentary photograph, and there are dioramas that present an event that happened around the 10 November 1945 clashes. Next is educational tourism in Rumah Batik. Batik is a very valuable traditional heritage and become one of the identical icon of Indonesia. Rumah Batik has all this diversity in every batik product offered. This batik house is located on Jalan Tambak Dukuhan number 4, Surabaya, and is visited by many who are happy and appreciate batik as a special work. In addition to shopping in this East Java Batik House, we can also take batik making course. Next is recreational tourism in Pantai Kenjeran Lama. Kenjeran Beach is one of the tourist attractions in Surabaya that has been popular for a long time in East Java, especially Surabaya. This beach is divided into Old Kenjeran Beach and New Kenjeran Beach. For Old Kenjeran Beach itself, activities that can be done lead more to conventional tourist activities. Kenjeran Lama Beach tourist location is indeed one of the locations that can give a calm and clear mind effect. The main attraction of Old Kenjeran is the natural scenery as well as the breeze. Next is religious tourism in Masjid Al-Akbar, Surabaya.
Masjid Al-Akbar is a magnificent and modern mosque. Masjid Al-Akbar is the second largest mosque after Istiqlal Mosque in Jakarta. This mosque became another icon of Surabaya related to religious tourist sites. This mosque has 2 floors and is equipped with an elevator and minaret. Visitors who come to this mosque can also enjoy the view of the city of Surabaya, Sidoarjo, and Bangkalan from the top of the tower, which has a height of 99 meters.
In Makassar, there are many tourism places, including maritime tourism, Takabonerate Marine Park. It is called a marine park because this place still has many healthy coral reefs, and this place is famous for having an underwater paradise that is still awake to this day. This place is one of the conservation seats for rare turtle species in our country. Historical tourism. Samba of Fort. Historical tour that have architecture design are so unique and charming. Inside the fort is the king's palace as well as the houses of the nobles. Now traditional houses have been built which of course make the tourist sites more beautiful. Religious tourism. Makassar 99 Dome Mosque because the 99 dome that were built in this mosque were taken from the number of Asmaul Husna. The construction of this magnificent mosque has even cost up to 182 billion with intricate details. These mosques include 30 unique mosques in the world. Ecotourism. Lantebung mangrove. The presence of mangrove forests combined with colorful bridges present a beautiful panorama, especially if you visit the village before sunset. The bridge, which was built 270 meters long, is also equipped with two small cottages for relaxing. Ecotourism, which is about 2 kilometers from the sea, certainly presents a perfect blend of natural beauty.
I will present the tourism in Sawah Lunto. First, heritage tourism. The town's cultural center building was once called the Rumah Bola or bowling house as it used to be a place for bowling and play pool during the Dutch era. Built in 1910, the other name for the building was the Glakhof or the Sociëteit. It was a center for Dutch workers for their leisure activities after a long day working the coal mines. Once rented to the Mandiri Bank in the early 2000s, the building is now restored and conserved as a heritage asset of Sawah Lunto. Next is cultural tourism. The Sawah Lunto Comedy House is an old building located in Sawah Lunto City, West Sumatra. This house was built by Sian Seng Wong Alan in 1917. The ornament, motif, and structure of the building feature a Chinese style that can contrast with the surrounding colonial buildings. Next is religious tourism. The Grand Mosque of Sawah Lunto, also called Nurul Iman Mosque, was once a steam-generated power plant of Kubang Sirakua. Built in 1894, when the river dried out in the nearby river, the power plant was moved to Salak village close to the Batang Ombilin River. The abandoned power plant at Kubang Sirakua was then converted into a weapon storehouse, and after Indonesia Revolutionary era in the 1950s, the building was transformed into a mosque with the 17.5-meter seminary serving as the grand tower of the mosque today. Last is ecotourism. Natural tourism destination, the Blue Lake Sawah Lunto is one of the ex-coal mining excavation location in the area. This lake is located in Talawi, Kota Sawah Lunto. This lake is a magnet for tourists to visit the mining city. The Blue Lake, this place is crowded. The tourists will be fascinated by the beauty of the lake and its surrounding, especially the blue water. There are many places that can be used as photo spot at the location of the lake.
That's all the presentation from our group. Thank you for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh.